Whoa! It's been a hot minute, folks. Welcome to the live stream of the Hard to Kill podcast. Back for another tour around veteran land. I've been missing MIA for a little bit, and there's a good reason for that. I've been working on myself. I didn't have it in me to get on here with like zero energy and just bum all you guys out. So I took a little bit of a hiatus since around March. And now I feel a lot better. And there's a reason for it too. And actually, one of the reasons for it, he's sitting in the lobby right now. So we got a special guest today. We got Dave Zabota. We're going to chat about his program, but also, how I benefited from his Operation Flow State. And before we get into that, there's a lot to go over. So this may be a little bit more fast paced, but that's on purpose because we got a lot to cover. I want to make sure that you guys are up to speed about what's going on in my head, what's going on in Hard to Kill podcast land, and how we can better serve the community. So welcome back. Don't forget, if you are tuning in on any one of the platforms that has a share button, which I think is all of them, share it with somebody that could benefit. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. That helps the channel grow and it helps more veterans get the content that they need to help become leaner, meaner, harder to kill individuals in the future. So we got 13 folks already tuning in. Welcome back. If you're tuning in and this is your first time, drop first time in the comments. And if you're a veteran of the podcast, whether you served or not, drop veteran in the comments. And let's get right into it. We got some cool updates for you. One update that just dropped not too long ago was this one here, and we'll get into what I have up on screen in a second. But I was the #1 veteran podcast of 2025 in Canada. All right, that's because of you guys, because you're tuning in. I can sit behind a mic and say all I want, but unless you guys are tuning in, sharing, and actually putting ratings and comments on the platforms, I don't get any visibility like this. So this is on FeedSpot. So this just popped up in my feed. So thanks to you guys. Really appreciate it. Keep on commenting, keep on adding ratings, and let's grow this show. I really, really want to get to 100,000 subscribers. That's my 2-year goal. So let's make that happen. Then we'll have a party and you can hold me to it once we hit that total. So thanks for that, folks. I also want to share with you the winner of the Dallas Alexander tickets. So if you guys weren't aware, the other week, I dropped an episode with Dallas Alexander, our favorite sniper here in Canada, and he offered up 2 tickets to one of his shows during his Canadian tour. And I threw this into a really fancy high-tech comment picker here, and Jim Arms -D&ck has won the tickets. And Jim Arms, we've already spoken by email. So you'll be getting those tickets shortly. So folks, stay tuned. You never know what you're going to win here. You never know what you're going to win. I'll be going this week. Well, I guess next week to Dallas's show in Ottawa. I can't wait. He really puts on a hell of a show. I saw him in London last year. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll do another raffle in the future if Dallas is willing. So congratulations to the winner. And for all those that commented on the video, if you're wondering what video I'm talking about, go back into my YouTube history. It's the second video. So I published a video since then. You'll find it. It's got Dallas on the front. And we're talking about his health protocol, the Dallas protocol, how to get healthy, fit, just like Dallas has. And he's kept himself from going down the destructive rabbit hole of poor health post-service. He keeps it simple, but I think you can gain a lot of insights from it moving forward. Okay. So on top of this, guys, the wins just keep on coming. Last Saturday, thanks to Caleb and the Veteran Business Network Institute. I think it's called Mission Entrepreneur. I might have got that wrong. VBNI. They put on the first ever veteran business pitch competition, which is really cool because the last few years, if you've been following the show, I've really been pushing the fact that more veterans need to be entrepreneurs and we need to actually support this community. And I've been working with the Americans and going down to the military influencer conference. Last year, we had Canada House. We had first time ever an international display in their conference in Atlanta, brought down a bunch of Canadian veterans. And Caleb was one of those individuals and he got inspired. He's like, man, I'm going to do something about that. And so Caleb's a successful entrepreneur and veteran. And I want to thank him for putting this event on in Ottawa. There's going to be more across Canada. And hey, guess what? I won. I didn't win the whole thing, but honorable mention to Luke of patio.ca, who got the grand prize, Donna Van Leusden and Cheryl Netterfield, that all had great business pitches. And we're getting a little bit of money and recognition and contacts to grow our businesses and become bigger voices for change in the entrepreneur space moving forward. So thanks, folks, for supporting us, those that did. And if you are a veteran entrepreneur, you're going to want to follow Caleb and his channel on LinkedIn. Let's blow this up a little bit more here so I can see what's going on. I've also got a joint venture going on here with Corporal for Life. So I know there's a lot coming at you. It's like, oh God, okay, what's next? So I may not have been doing lives, but I've been busy at work. So myself and Nick from Corporal for Life, our favorite apparel company here in Canada, we've decided to do a collaboration with a limited edition sticker. Okay, limited edition sticker. So get your hands on this sticker. If you go follow me on my X account, so the link should be here at the bottom of the description. If not, Hard to Kill Pod. So HRD number 2 KILL pod is my handle on X, Twitter. Are we settled on X now? That's where you can find the link. So, or you go to Corporate for Life's website and it's on the merch store. Part of the proceeds from these stickers is going to go to one of my favorite organizations here that helps veterans get back on their feet and explore their adventure side a little bit more. That's Warrior Adventures Canada. Spoke to John yesterday. Awesome dude. Had them on the show a few times. They're bringing veterans into the woods, doing really exciting stuff like canoe portage and living in the woods and connecting with that adventure side, which has been shown to help especially male veterans heal from trauma way better than what we're doing right now. And this is kind of the common thread about what I'm talking about here today, but more specifically in like a more meta way where we need to figure out how to heal. We know the research and the current paradigm is not working. One of the ways to start breaking out of the mold of going to talk therapy and taking SSRIs is going out for adventures like this. And the proof is literally in my book right there, where I talked to Dr. Rob Whitley, a lead researcher at McGill University that has written the book literally on how men heal from trauma. And he is a veteran himself. And he says you got to do it shoulder to shoulder. So love it. Guys, go get your sticker. I'm still waiting for mine. It's in the mail. I'm going to be rocking it on my laptop for sure. And if you want to get your limited edition sticker, go to Corporal for Life's website and get yours today. All right. So that brings us to the meat. Okay. Why did I put some random woman on the thumbnail? If you could see the thumbnail before tuning in today. Well, it's because that random lady is the Honorable Jill McKnight. Now, she doesn't have a picture here yet on the government website, but I'm sure she will. I'm sure they'll get a headshot for her. She's the new Minister of Veterans Affairs, and I believe she is the assistant. I think they made up a position. Minister of National Defense. I don't know what that means because I know there's deputies, which is like the actual 2IC. There's not much here in terms of information. And I posted on Instagram about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that this is our new minister. Interesting. So I did a bit of research and just wanted to fill you guys in on the facts. So obviously I went to a good old Chat GPT to get that research. Now, who is Jill McKnight? Who is our new veterans minister? Because I mean, this is important. This is the individual that is in charge of policy, right? For the entire country, for our veterans. So she's newly appointed Minister of Veterans Affairs and Associate Minister of National Defense of Canada. She assumed office in May 13, so right after the election. She was born in Delta, British Columbia. McKnight has a strong background in entrepreneurship and community leadership. She earned a Bachelor of Commerce in Entrepreneurial Business from the University of Victoria. Before entering politics, she operated 2 local businesses and served as the executive director of the Delta Chamber of Commerce. That's cool. Love entrepreneurs. Awesome. She's a hard charger. That's great. McKnight was elected to Parliament for Delta on the 28th of April, marking the first term in public office. So she's never been in politics before. That's it. Her appointment to the cabinet reflects her commitment to public service and her community. So never been elected to government, but she gets a cabinet position on day one. That's interesting. Throughout her career, McKnight has been recognized for her dedication to community service, receiving honors such as the King Charles III Coronation Medal. God damn it. Man, what do you have to do to get a coronation medal around here, man? Like, I never got any of the Jubilees. Did you get a Jubilee? Hey, how many Jubilee award winners, okay, medal winners are here? And drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. I want to know. I didn't get the first one. I didn't get the second one. Like, who do you have to jerk off in order to get one? Seriously, like, how does this work? Is it just for officers? I was an officer. I didn't get one. I don't know. So she got one of those. And she did get the Queen's Juby. Wow. She's just stacking medals. I love it. Her role as Minister of Veterans Affairs, McKnight is in her role as Minister of Veterans Affairs, McKnight is responsible for overseeing Veterans Affairs Canada, which administers benefits and services to veterans. As we know, members of Canadian Forces and Royal Canadian Mounted Police, as well as their family and caregivers. Okay, cool. So there's a ChatGPT take. Not much else known about her, right? So, I mean, here's my take. I like giving people a chance. She may knock this out of the park. Not having ever been in government, she may be like, no, that sucks. She's an entrepreneur, so she could be like, all the programs that aren't cutting it, they're gone. That would be amazing. And ring up our local veterans, get on the podcast, be like, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That could be what she does. That would be amazing. Now, am I optimistic that that's going to happen? Nah, I'm not optimistic that that's going to happen. But let's give her a shot. All right, fellas, ladies, let's give her a shot. Because we don't know. But here's my take. The Canadian government just put a junior MP into a very sticky position. Veterans Affairs Minister is not a lucrative position, because let's be honest, they have people like me, they have people like Kelsey, they have very outspoken veterans, because it's one of the only departments that I know of that literally deals with individuals on a quasi-regular basis. They're dealing with some really murky, kind of gross things like suicide, like SA. There's just a whole bunch of toxic. There's just a whole bunch of things. It's all blended in with the politics of the country. It's very hard to please a veteran. The two things that troops hate most are status quo and change. So you're dealing with a grumpy population. You got to kind of know how to navigate that. Well, I don't see any background where she has any experience with the military. I don't see any background with her dealing with disgruntled populations. I can't see how she's read up on all the issues. So Jill, Honorable Jill McKnight, pay attention, study up, get your pen, get your FMP out. Let's start writing some things down. Okay. Because this is going to be a bumpy ride. And your leader, Mark, just appointed you to a really shit job. And I think he's setting you up to fail. I don't think he knew any better. That's unfortunate. But let's get off on the right foot. Let's start reaching out. I'm tagging you every day on Instagram. That's on purpose. I want you to be successful. And that being said, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. Jill, you got a bunch of things we're going to get into that right now that you have to cover off. But you've already got folks that are already blasting you. All right. And so, although I'm trying to be diplomatic here, Kelsey, I really like I really like your first shot across the bow. I think a lot of us are feeling this way too. So Kelsey found out about this as well, obviously, and from her Substack. And I'm quoting, Jill McKnight, by every measurable standard for this critical role, is entirely unqualified and dangerous. She has never served our country in uniform, has zero experience with military life, and possesses no genuine comprehension of the complexities veterans face daily. Her primary experience before politics involved running a women's clothing boutique, a respectable career, but wholly inadequate for understanding the dire realities of military service. With all due respect, selling dresses is worlds apart from knowing what it's like to dodge bullets downrange, carry your wounded friends off the battlefield, or confront the devastating aftermath of war-related trauma. I think that's very well said. I think that's very well said. But let's give her a chance. That's my take on things. And so let's get into what the issues are, right? And I'd love to hear what your comments are. How are you feeling about this new Veterans Affairs Minister? Are you feeling indifferent? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling like Kelsey, like this sucks? This shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have a junior minister that doesn't know anything about the politics or the experience of veterans in here. Love to know what you have to say. Comments are actually, they got a new feature here. So if you put your comments in, it goes right up. So we got right side of history. It's a shame you have no viewers, good info. They're all, hey, yeah, right side of history. Look, I've been away for a little while. This is expected, but share. they'll go up. We'll get hundreds once things get consistent. So I appreciate the concern, though. Here we go. And shout out to all you folks from the Veterans for Freedom Network. You guys are always my biggest supporters. So keep on sharing. I'm back, baby. I'm back. All right. So what are some of the issues? Well, as likely most of you guys know, there's a suicide problem. Interestingly enough, so I discussed this on the American Grit podcast with Tim Jensen from Gruntstyle. And I'm rocking a Gruntstyle shirt because we're going to talk a little bit more about them in 2 seconds. Americans pretty much have a grasp, and they like having like cold hard facts to back up their efforts. They know roughly there's 150,000 suicides since the global war on terror started. If you try to find a number that's comparable in Canada, you get this. So maybe you can't see this on your end. It's a little bit small. So let me blow this up. The stats that I reference on our conversation are from what are publicly available. Now, they did a study a few years ago. This is 2019, 2022. The same numbers roughly show that male veterans have a 1.4 times greater risk of dying by suicide compared to other male Canadians if you were in the CAF, if you're a veteran. Okay. Now that's interesting. Now, obviously that's worse and that's not good, but we can't get an actual number. And I think that's on purpose. I think getting to a number is done on purpose so that it can muddy the waters. And I read these papers. Here are the critical issues surrounding the statistics on this. They're taking a cohort in veterans that joined from 1970 to 2016, if I'm not correct. The problem with that is that kind of cuts off the GWAT veteran era. So you've got veterans that got a wide range of ages. However, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, most of those individuals will not have deployed to the GWAT. And on top of that, most Canadian veterans in that era had no combat experience. There was a few dust-ups. There was Medak Pocket, there was Somalia, but overwhelmingly, the majority of Canadian Armed Forces soldiers did not see any warfare until the GWAT. And so what that's doing is it's taking your data set and it's washing it out with way more soldiers. That's the problem. There's way more soldiers because Canada's army was way bigger in the 70s and 80s. And then we had force reduction and then it built back up during the war. So you've got an incorrect data set, in my opinion. You need to go from, all right, folks that joined in the late 90s until, let's say, the late 2010s. You're in the cohort. Let's see what that's like. And that's what the Americans are doing, because they're going, look, this is how many veterans have committed suicide since the GWAT. It's GWAT deaths. Right? It's veteran deaths. And so that gives you a much better picture. And we're not doing that here. So the first thing is we need to get a grip of how bad the situation is. And my initial calculations, based on the fact that approximately 40,000 veterans went through the GWAT, which is not that many, but it's because we had multiple tours because nobody was deploying. Like, let's be honest, we were too small and we relied heavily on reservists like myself, all of our friends, and then like the battalions were just like nonstop deploying, and it caused a shit ton of trauma. Like, let's be honest. Now, I know a few guys that took their own life, and I'm sure you do as well. If you extrapolate that and just do it based on like how many guys went through, I came up with roughly 1,000 just from the GWAT, based on 1.4 times more likely. That is a staggering amount of deaths, relatively speaking, just from that era, because we had so few go through. Right. And that would mean we've got a way bigger problem than we even expected. And on top of that, I don't think we're tracking reservists at all. So if they kill themselves, I don't think we know. And I don't think the government cares. So Jill, this is one thing that we need to start working on. And what are some of the things that are contributing to this? Well, I mean, obviously, we're offering MAID to our veterans. And this is from April 25th, right before the election. Another combat vet who says he was offered medical assisted suicide comes forward. Like, I think there's about 12 total. And Mark Meinke and Kelsey are much more well-versed on this than I am. I've had one individual on my show that was offered and he was suing them for millions, which obviously he should. This is unacceptable. And this implies a culture that is completely broken within Veterans Affairs. If this doesn't get rooted out and the people that were responsible pushed out of the system, and those individuals that let it happen be held accountable, you've still got a serious problem because there's no trust. I don't have any trust in the system, zero. And I think a lot of you feel the same way too. Why would I have any trust in the system that even if they offered it to one guy and there's still no accountability, then how can I trust a system that doesn't want to root out this awful policy that individuals that only call when they're in trouble that want help get offered MAID? That is, man, that's what gets me fired up at night. Like this stuff. And I don't know if this is happening elsewhere on the planet. Is it happening in the UK? Is it happening in Australia? But the flags are up. The Americans are being, are going down the road of offering medical assistance and dying in different states. Is it inevitable that they're going to start offering it at VA? I don't know, but time to get active and time to start rooting this out. So Joe, that's another problem that we need to sort out. And then, we've got an insurance scam issue. Veterans Affairs Canada is letting down its clients from an Ottawa Citizen article in 2023. The federal government's agreement with an outside contractor makes it harder to provide effective trauma-focused treatment in a timely way. This is PCVRS. Now, I've done an episode on this, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but when I say this is an insurance scam, this is a 100% for-profit company that is in charge of our rehabilitation, and it doesn't fucking work. The incentive is to keep you in this system as long as humanly possible or until you kill yourself. And trust me, there were times where I was just like, fuck this shit. I'm done. Get me out. Like, there's nothing more humiliating than having to beg and plead to not have your benefits cut because you won't be able to pay the mortgage or feed your kids. And I can't tell you how many guys are going through this exact same process right now. If you are, I'd love to know, because if we don't talk about this, if we just like get pissed off on the internet and write comments, nothing's going to change. This is an insurance scam. This is the Westons who own Loblaws, that own Lifemark, that take care of PCVRS. That is their company. Their company is insurance based. They own all the pharmacies. Okay. I think it's Uniprix here in Quebec. I think it's Shoppers Drug Mart in the rest of Canada. Their goal is not to pay you your benefits. Their goal is to cut them off. That's how their insurance agents get bonuses. They want to trip you up. The goal is not care. The goal is to ensure you get fucked up. And how do I know this? They tried to fuck me up. They try to fuck up every one of my friends that goes through this system. Why does it take 6, 7, maybe even 10 years to finally get your lifetime benefits or your d&ck, yet to still have this kind of dangled over your head where it could be yanked from you at any point and you get thrown back into rehabilitation? This doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense if you see it from a for-profit model. And the fact that the Westons and Loblaws, the most powerful family in this country, are in charge of it, smells to high heaven. And we need to change this because it's not making things better. It's making things significantly worse. All right, Jill. So you got a full plate, but that brings me to the things that are working well. Okay. And we're going to get Dave on here in a hot minute and talk about his program, because I think that's where the solution is. I dropped an episode just recently, and I'm showing it here on X with Trevor and Gord Hurley. So Trevor is the president of, I believe he's the president, but Ambio Life Sciences. They offer ibogaine treatments in the United States, and they take it to Mexico. And this has been helping folks with a TBI and post-traumatic stress actually get back on their feet and like heal up. These are the kind of treatments that are actually effective, that are actually getting people off the edge of suicide and actually coming back and actually reintegrating and feeling better again. He's been doing this for years, and he actually helped Sean Ryan with his post-traumatic stress and TBI issues. And so it was a great conversation. If you haven't checked it out, just go to my channel and you'll find it right there, whether it's on audio or video. You can check them both out there. I don't know if there's some amount of algorithm suppression, because I'd like to say that when like my videos don't pop, it's like, fuck, I only got 20 views. What the fuck is this? But it's really not accelerating the typical way, which is interesting. And TikTok has basically kept my views at 0. So guys, if you want to check this episode out, you got to go yourself and then share it with friends, is basically what I'm saying, if you want to learn a little bit more about this ibogaine type of treatment for veterans. And lastly, before we bring Dave on, taking action is going to be important. And I like to model myself after people that are doing good things. And that's what Gruntstyle is up to right now. I posted something here on X, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. This is a poll. It's the best poll I've ever done, actually. It was, is it time for a 1,000 veteran march on Parliament Hill? And 85 votes, which is pretty good for an account that only has 1,000 subscribers. 90% yes. 8.2% 2% said, yeah, I'll bring the coffee. And we got some good engagement here. So we got some folks from the Gruntstyle Foundation saying, yeah, like, let's do it. We even came up with some grok inspired art for the 1,000 veteran march with a one drum. I want bagpipes. I want a hell of a lot of bagpipes, flags, and we head to Parliament Hill. So great engagement. And then Janae, who works with the Gruntstyle Foundation, wanted me to share a few things that are going on in the United States, namely the war cry for change, hence the name of the episode today, where they are going to Congress. Okay. They're going to the Capitol. I think I got that right, Dave. I think I got your politics right. This is the U.S. Capitol building. And the goal, June 4th and June 5th. They're exploring the relationship between medication and veteran suicide. So on me and Tim's podcast, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. It's on the American Grit podcast. I've posted a bunch of reels here to send you in the right spot, but ultimately, he's talking about overprescription of SSRIs and gaslighting the warfighter. So here's just a quick blurb for you guys to get up to speed. And if you guys are American and you're listening, about 50% of those that listen are from the United States and you want to help out, or hey, if you're Canadian and want to send some support, send some love via Twitter, or head down to the Capitol, man. You can head down. There's nothing stopping you. I don't think, right? The towers haven't turned into like not being able to enter in the United States. The war cry for change, potential. So on June 5th, sorry, we're taking our fight to the heart of the nation's capital. Gruntstyle Foundation is hosting War Cry for Change at the U.S. Capitol, and we need you there. This is our stand against the epidemic of veteran overprescribing that's claiming too many of our brothers and sisters, especially when $3 billion is spent on veteran suicide each year. Wow, that's insane. And the numbers aren't going down. We start at dawn with a healing hike hosted by Reverent Warriors. Awesome organization, by the way. I went last year to a hike in Massachusetts. It's freaking awesome. Silkies encourage. They call them silky hikes. They wear their short shorts because healing happens when we move together. Then we gather at the House Triangle for a press conference with Congressman Jack Bergman, where it will unveil the Skull of Sacrifice, a powerful remembrance ceremony where veterans will throw their prescription bottles into the skull in solidarity against overprescribing. We'll honor warriors like Dr. Larry Miller's son, who took his life at the Audie Murphy VA on April 7th in his final act of protest. Finally, we take our voices inside the Capitol for a roundtable with Congress members, industry experts, and surviving families. Real solutions, real change. Veterans, patriots, advocates, we need all hands on deck to send this message loud and clear. No more overprescribing. No more losing our warriors to a broken system. June 5th, U.S. Capitol, War Cry for Change. Be there, be heard, be the change. This will defend. Details are in the description, guys. And I'd love for you guys to get on board with that. I love what these guys are doing. And this is the model that I want to help encourage here in Canada. We are the same as our American brothers and sisters. We fought alongside them and we get prescribed the exact same shit every single day. And we got to start changing that. We can't keep on going down the same path and expecting a different result. This is, I think, the main issue, or one of the main issues that we need to get a grip on. So, Minister, if you're listening, this is coming your way. This is coming your way. I'm not bringing this up for no reason. So, folks, I want to bring on our special guest today. We're going to be chatting a little bit about how to initiate a healing journey. And how to actually start getting to the point where we can become a little bit more healthier, a little bit more mindful, maybe do some BJJ at the same time. So, Dave, welcome to the live stream, man. How you doing?
What's going on, brother? Long time no see. We had our talk like 2 hours ago.
I think I talk to you a little bit more than my wife, like on a regular basis. That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. That's fine.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to have friends in your life, you know?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I was talking to a buddy of mine. We went for lunch. He's a veteran as well. And I'm like, dude, man, like, because I was still chatting with you when we linked up. And he's like, oh, who are you talking to? I'm like, oh, Dave. He's the guy that ran the becoming.om. He's the becoming.om guy, the BJJ retreat. He's like, oh, cool. I'm like, dude, like these guys aren't like therapists. Like I have my therapist, but they're way fucking better than my therapist. I gotta just chill, and he's not a veteran, and like he's got better perspectives. He's telling me about books to read. Like I'm like, that's what I need. So explain how did I kind of know, but like for the uninitiated, like what are you doing, man? Like why are you such a big force to reckon with now in the veteran healing space?
Well, man, that's thank you for saying that, first of all. And yeah, how we got here, it's kind of funny because like I didn't really want to or mean to, which is probably half the reason why it works.
Good.
And I think you know what you said about this working better, being better than actual therapy. Again, I think it's because I'm not a therapist. So I'm just a fucking normal guy. And like we just talk normally, you know, and like we shared something in our
you never ask about my childhood and like how bad it was with my mother, which I really like. I just talk about it anyways. So I appreciate
it. There's a time and a place for that. But yeah, we were talking about this the other day with one of our clients. Like I shared an affirmation that we came up with for her. And it was like, you know, I can appreciate that when I wake up in the morning, my brain is a little bit fucked up because of everything I've been through. And I was like, you're not going to hear a therapist telling you like, yeah, Carrie, your brain's a little fucked up, but that's okay. Here's what we're going to do about it. I think that's really what people appreciate. Is just we're fucking normal people. But yeah, my actual background is as a doctor of physical therapy. So I always kind of joke, I'm not that kind of doctor or I'm not that kind of therapist because technically I'm a doctor of physical therapy. But I went to school for that my whole life. And then I kind of got into plant medicine for my own purposes because I was super depressed and suicidal and went to this ayahuasca retreat. And I actually met my wife there at that ayahuasca retreat. It's kind of a long story about how that relationship started. And she'd been in this whole plant medicine world for a while. She's a yoga instructor, certified psychedelic facilitator, psychedelic assisted therapist, some credentials like that. She's got the actual credentials. Mm-hmm. And then she just kind of brought me into the fold of microdosing and helping people get into microdosing. And I kind of stepped away from doing the physical therapy thing a few years back because I realized, you know, I got into PT because I wanted to help people heal. And it turns out I care a lot more about helping you heal your brain than healing your ACL tear. And there's a lot better people out there to do that than me. So decided to kind of go full time on this. And when you get into it, it's actually kind of a natural progression of how I got there. But that's the long and short of it, man. Like we're just a couple normal people who figured out a lot of stuff on our own. We have a lot of our own experience with psychedelics. We've had the good fortune of having a lot of really good teachers along the way. And we've been kind of put in this position to create this community. There you go. Healing in community. It's one of the things that we always talk about. We've been in this really fortunate position where a lot of people seem to trust us and seem to like what we're doing. And they keep sending more people our way, like yourself. And now we have the good fortune to work with a lot of cool people and just kind of help people through the shit that they've been through. You know, we focus a lot on veterans and first responders, but we really work with anybody who's been through some shit in life, whether that was not getting hugged enough as a kid or dealing with sexual abuse growing up, or we've got somebody who grew up in a cult and we're working with them with their PTSD. And yeah, a lot of people like you, a lot of veterans, first responders, that kind of thing. So that was a fucking long-winded response. I don't even know if I answered your question, but that's a little bit about me and what we do.
You nailed it. You did a great job. It's like you've been doing this before. It's like you got a podcast.
Something like that. It's funny looking at our website because me and Cordy really want to do like this whole rebranding. We're not super happy with what's even on there, but I guess it's good stuff if somebody wants to go check out the website, becoming.om. But I think the Instagram is probably the best spot to go. And if you follow us on there, I'll send you a message and just talk to you because joke that I like to make social media social again by actually talking to people on there. So it's the best place to connect.
Wait, you want to call me? Yeah, I want to like literally talk to you. Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. I literally message every single new follower that we get, and people always think that it's like an automated message, which you actually can't even do. So that's
you
literally
can't. Yep. One thing, okay, constructive criticism.
Yeah.
When I first saw your image here, and if I'm the first one to mention this, then cool. I thought there was some Islamic like reference here because I'm like, oh, crescent moon, and I was like, oh, and green. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what? And then I was like, oh no, that's not it at all. So, anyways, that was just my initial interpretation, guys. It's not a religious cult. That's not what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, it's for sure a cult, but it's not nothing.
It's not a religious based cult. It's open to all. It's all to all conspiracy theories, all ways of thinking.
Definitely the conspiracy theories. 100%.
I think that's the only way to really connect at a deeper level is like what's your conspiracy theory?
Well, dude,
and once you know, it's like, oh fuck, I didn't know about that one. That's cool.
I literally just finished writing the text of a children's book. So it's Baby's First Conspiracy Theory, and it's like an ABC of conspiracy theories. I swear to God, each conspiracy theory has like 2 rhyming couplets describing it. And it's kind of like, obviously it's like going to be marketed to dads, but it's kind of like humorous because it's like, here's a cute baby book with all these cute children's illustrations. And it's like H is for harp, you know, V is for vaccine, that kind of thing.
Oh my dude.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Is this the first time you mentioned this publicly? Because this is,
yes, I think it is actually.
Like, take my money now. What
I know, dude.
I want in on the ground level, man.
Honestly,
that's the best idea I've heard all month.
The hard thing is I need an illustrator because I started making illustrations with ChatGPT, which works fine, but there's no consistency. And so like each time you do it, like the people look different. And so I want to have an actual illustrator make it. So it's like kind of me and my daughter and like showing her all the fucked up things in the world. C is for chemtrails, obviously. Let's see, J is for Jeffrey Epstein.
This is like the was it Shut the Fuck Up and Go to Bed? Remember that? That was wild for a while.
Yeah.
That was really good. I think that's what it was. It was what's his name? He's like, God, time you got these motherfucking stages off this motherfucking plane. What's his name? He like narrated it.
Talking about. So that's in the works also. Just fun little side note. I got dude, there's enough conspiracy theory material for like 7 of these books at least.
Oh wow. Okay. So after the Operation Flow State really blows up, then clearly there's a pivot to conspiracy theory children's books. That's amazing. You're a man. You're a real Renaissance man. But but the Operation Flow State. So I wanted to talk about that in all seriousness. So I've talked about it on like all the episodes basically since I got back because it had such a massive impression on me. Yeah. So I'll share, which you know, but for those that are listening, I'll share my experience, and then Dave, you can fill in the gaps. But I'm a BJJ hobbyist, partly because I don't want to be I guess beaten up by my son when he's like 14, 15, because he's going to be big. So there's an ego thing there. I want to also make sure that I keep the metaphorical sword sharp. I know there's benefit to combat sports. I've never done it before. And there's just enough BJJ memes in my feed to convince me that this was the right community for me. So I decided to start like 2 years ago. And then one thing led to another. And like we met up online. I can't remember it was Toby, right? It was Toby who I had on the show. He talked about his journey, his ayahuasca journey, and you were part of that. And he's like, yeah, you got to get in touch with Dave. So then I had you on the show. And then I learned that like Seb Lavoie was the head instructor. I'm like, but I had Seb on my show and he didn't mention anything. So like I busted his balls, you busted his balls. Like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, wait, so what's this thing you've got going on with this flow state retreat? And it's like, oh, it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu and a little bit of plant medicine. I'm like, no. Yeah, in Mexico. And you're like, and by the way, some Canadian Armed Forces veterans have been able to get Veterans Affairs to pay for it. And my mind just went like, it's like, what? Hold on a sec. There's something cool that I can do and not just fight with these freaking ding dongs. So that led me to eventually, get Veterans Affairs to fund my Operation Flow State. And honestly, best retreat I've ever done. Not that I've done too many retreats. So, I mean, for now, it's the best one. So you've got that, you take it. And I just have to say, like, all jokes aside, the people I met, the work we did, and when I say like in the description, I'm kind of tongue in cheek, like I'm pretty sure I talked to God, like you don't get that on many retreats, I'll be honest. So, and then I came back just with the clarity and the calm that I've been looking for like 10 years. So lasting impact, and you're doing great work. And now over to you. Like, what got you to start this very specific niche style retreat for veterans and first responders?
Yeah. I guess like everything else, and thanks for the kind words about it, by the way, man. I'm glad it's the best retreat you've ever been to. Says the guy who's been to like one retreat, right?
I've been to 2. Maybe 3 if I stretch another one.
There you go. Yeah, I guess this is kind of a theme of like just kind of stumbling ass backwards into doing something, and then it's like a really good thing that helps a lot of people. So the jujitsu retreats actually started because my wife was planning a yoga teacher training with a friend of hers here in Mexico. And all the people here in Tulum are like extremely flaky. I really don't love living here. They're weird people here. Um, Everyone else sucks except for me, you know?
I was just gonna say, yeah. You're right, Dave. Yeah, it's everybody else, not just you.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's everyone else's problem, right? But no, for real. So she's planning this women's yoga teacher training with this other girl, and the deal was that like Cordy was going to do kind of the yoga aspect. This other girl was going to do like a lot of the marketing because she has a whole background in like online marketing, all that kind of stuff. And so we put down this several $1,000 non-refundable deposit on this retreat center to lock in these dates. And then she has this big falling out with this friend. The friend is like, I'm not doing this. Just you do it. You take over the retreat. And Cordy's like, well, that wasn't the plan at all. And I'm like, sweet. So we just paid $3,000 for this retreat center that we now have no retreat. What do we do? And so, in an effort to not lose like $3,000, we pivoted. And Cordy is like, well, why don't you just do a jujitsu retreat? You've always talked about doing that. And I was like, yeah, I talked about doing that like in 10 years when I'm a black belt. Like I'm a blue belt. Like I have no business running a jujitsu retreat. And she was like, no, let's do it. Like we can bring in an instructor, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So literally in an effort to save $3,000, we pivoted and ended up losing like 10 grand on the first retreat. So that was a solid business move. But it meant that we ended up doing these jujitsu retreats. And so we got some experience doing that. I spent like $2,500 buying these jujitsu mats. And so sunk cost fallacy. Once I have those, now we have to keep doing them.
You got no choice.
And now I pay for a fucking storage locker to keep them in too, so they're not all in my house. So basically, it's just been a hole that I've thrown money into. No, but for real. So we did our first one literally just to do it. And as we started coming up with a plan for it, like I got really excited, and I kind of build it as like probably the coolest jujitsu or the most interesting like combat sport related event since the Vikings, because like I stand by that. I think this is one of the coolest things that's ever existed in human history. Like it's the most unique week of your life probably for most people who will come to this, where we incorporate a traditional indigenous Mexican sweat lodge ceremony. We do a holotropic breathwork ceremony, which is like psychedelic breathwork. We have cannabis assisted yoga. We microdose and meditate in the morning before training jujitsu. And then we have like super high level jujitsu instruction. We have like incredible food. It's the retreat center itself is incredibly gorgeous with fucking monkeys just swinging through the trees every day. The place is incredible. So it's a super, super awesome experience by itself. Not to mention, for us, the real reason that we're doing it is to help people heal. And it's kind of interesting because we have 1 week that we do for civilians, and then 1 week that we do just for veterans and first responders. And the schedule is literally the exact same. We do the exact same things both weeks. But the vibe of the civilian retreat is very much like, oh, this is a cool Mexico vacation where I dip my toe into the spirituality. And the vibe of the veteran retreat is like, this is a healing retreat where we happen to do jujitsu. And it's like the same exact schedule. So it's just a different vibe, a different mindset. And I care a lot more about the veteran one. We're making some changes to the structure of things, kind of letting go of the civilian side. But we're going to continue doing this for veterans because I still own those mats. So I need to do something with them. But yeah, man, so that's how we started doing it. It was like kind of by accident. And then we were like, oh, this is like extremely cool. And everyone who comes here fucking loves it. And literally every year that we do it, I am so remarkably stressed by all the logistics leading up to it. And every year I'm like, this is the last year we're doing this. Fuck this. I hate these retreats. And then when we're there, everybody's like, this is incredible. When's the next one? I want to sign up. I want to bring my friends. Like, you have to keep doing this. And I'm like, fine, I'll do it again.
Okay. Begrudgingly. Well, then clearly, Dave, you need to find an operations manager in the veteran community. They'll gladly do it. That's
I mean, that would be cool.
I mean, come on. Look, I'll propose to you this. Like especially the Canadian veteran landscape, like I'm not allowed to make more than $2,000. That's a whole other kettle of fish. It's retarded, but the government's like, oh, yeah, we're paying you, but you better not make any money or contribute to Canadian society. Just sit at home. It's like, why would you do that? But that means there's a lot of like free agent veterans that are just like willing to do like high level work for pennies on the dollar. So you could probably, you know, with the folks that you've had go through your program, myself, you could put a call to action out. You could probably find somebody that would gladly do the coordination and stuff like that. So
It's not a bad idea.
yeah, I mean, leverage it. Like right now, you're in. You're one of us. Like one of us. One of us. You just put the call to action out. For sure, you'll have somebody who's probably like a colonel in the Marines who like coordinated like high level ops. Be like, yeah, yeah, you just need me to get like 12 people down to Mexico. Yeah, don't worry, I can handle it, bro.
Dude, honestly, that's the biggest thing. I was just telling someone about this the other day. You know, it's like I have to pay for this retreat center. So it's like the date comes around. It's like I have to pay $50,000. If I sell one spot or if I sell all the spots, I still have to pay $50,000, which is extremely stressful. So yeah, dude, if we could just like guarantee that people come, that's fucking easy to do.
Yeah. And for all our Canadian friends that are listening right now, like I did it. So I know for a fact that Veterans Affairs, if you have your education reimbursement, they will fund this retreat. It was the most efficient thing I've ever done through Veterans Affairs. It was within 2 weeks. I was so shocked. I called Veterans Affairs because like, why did you put money in my account? They're like, you applied for the program in Mexico. I was like, oh,
right.
That's that already?
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, I'm like, oh, thank you. They're like, yep, you're welcome. I was like, wow, holy shit. That worked really, really easy. I thought it was going to be a fight. I thought they were going to like pay me retroactively, but no, it works really well. And for anyone that's curious, like Dave can take you through the process. I can take you through the process.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what we did. So I kind of have like a template because like we know what questions VAC is going to ask you on those applications. And so we provide all the information that you need to send the application. We've had a handful of people do it at this point. So I kind of have like a stock email that I have drafted of just like, click this, do this application first. This is the info you need. And then this is the second part of the application. This is the info you need. You send it off. And yeah, as long as you're eligible for that benefit, so far VAC has paid for it. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that they don't look too hard at what we're doing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's the issue. So like, I meant to bring up a conversation I had, so I'll use my time here. I know you got to go in like 5 minutes, right? So,
shit. Thank you. Yeah, I have a client call in like 4 minutes. Yeah.
I had a great conversation with a client and friend. He's been in the Veterans Getting Fit AF community, and we'll just call him D for now. And he just wanted to chat about like his progress since doing my programs and stuff like that, and So he wanted to say thank you for like pointing him in the right direction, just giving him a frame of mind. And he was in special operations forever, right? So really banged up, and so he did like heroic hearts, and then he did like a stellate ganglion injection. And then like he's been down this path of like healing modalities that he's like, but dude, this was amazing. And the Americans treat me so well. He's Canadian, obviously. He's like, why aren't we doing this here in Canada? He's like, it doesn't make any sense. He's like, they're meeting us where we're at. And I'm like, yeah, man. I mean, that's ultimately where we're at right now. Like you're providing a service that cannot be accessed here in Canada. And it's unfortunate, but it's like, you have to kind of tiptoe around the fact that hey, there's plant medicine involved. Like there's plant medicine involved. Like, so what, they prescribe us hardcore drugs. And on top of that, they give me $1,000 of literal plant. Like
I know, dude.
This is $1,000 of plant medicine right here.
That's the Canadian government solution seems to be they just throw marijuana at the problem. And if it doesn't go away, they're like, do you want to kill yourself?
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, hey, there's a plan C. And they're like, no, don't look at that. Shut that down.
No, dude. Come on. No. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the big issue that I want to, like, I don't know how to crack that nut, but it's getting loud, and it's just making sure that folks, I think most of it is getting away from the system and relying on it and realizing that there's programs like yours that you can go apply to that will be funded and actually meet the veteran where they're at, because this isn't for everybody, right? But for those that are looking for it, it's there.
And a couple other things I'll say before I got to run, this retreat happens down in Mexico, but we also have this entire online program that you're a part of. I know we've spoken of a bit in the past as well. And that can meet people wherever they're at geographically. So like, you don't have to travel down to Mexico to be a part of our mindful microdosing program, for instance. And honestly, man, like I should say, my wife and I, we don't really concern ourselves with everything that you just talked about, like the advocacy part of it. That's why there's folks like the Gruntstyle Foundation. And I really hope that you continue to lean into working with them. That's the direction you're going with your podcast, of kind of banging the drum and making noise about this, so that your new Veterans Affairs person like takes a look at it and makes some changes. Whereas us, I'm just kind of like, my head's down, we're in the trenches doing shit that actually helps people on like a very tangible, meaningful level. And honestly, just kind of hoping that like no one looks at what we're doing too hard. Because when that has happened, like our bank shut us down, our payment processor kicked us off, fucking Zoom kicked us off of using them because we violated their policies. So it's just all this nonsense that we have to work around. And like, I'm just leaving it to people like you and Gruntstyle and all these other people who are doing the advocacy. And I'm like, hey, if you're not fucking doing well, like follow me on Instagram. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can actually do about it. Because all that shit on Capitol Hill, it really doesn't make any difference to the veteran out there who's acutely thinking about killing themselves. And like, that's great that all that stuff's coming down the pipeline in the legislation, but like, what's going to actually make a difference in that person's life tomorrow? And I think that's kind of where I come in. So yeah, I do have to run and go talk to one of our clients right now. So yes, that's the spot. Instagram, becoming.om. Hit us up on there. Literally, if you just follow us on Instagram, like I will send you a message by tomorrow at the latest, and we can talk. We got a couple free things going on right now. We got our group, our membership, we got our retreats coming up. So follow us on Instagram. That's the best place for everything. If somebody doesn't have Instagram, I know like some older folks aren't like IG friendly. Go to our website. There's a button to get in touch there. That works as well. All right.
Right on. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much, man. I'm sorry to go abruptly. I was not keeping an eye on time at all. So maybe we'll do this again next week or something. All right.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right. Enjoy. Peace out, buddy. Thank you.
Peace, bro. All right, folks. So there you go. Dave is a gem, absolute gem. And didn't mention it earlier, but he's a sponsor of the show. So if you've been tuning in lately, you've noticed that his programs are mentioned at the start of the show. So proud supporter of the Hard to Kill podcast. And it's always a pleasure to have him on. And just recently, actually, I even forgot to mention, brand new sponsor of the show, Firmtech. Talked about them a million times. They've been a supporter of the show. Now they're officially a sponsor as well. So if you want to take your sexual health seriously, more to follow on that. It is directly related to your cardiac health as well. And want to make sure that veterans are literally harder to kill. So more to follow on our partnership with Firmtech moving forward. Let's get into the comments, man. Let's get into the comments. So starting from the bottom up, we've got, Irish Aryan. Oh boy. Oh shit. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I can't post that. Come on. Vikram Singh. To control and continue to manipulate us. I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to. Their New World Order. Okay. More chemtrails all over Canada, not to mention dew fires. I don't know what that is. Yeah, interesting to see that there's more talk about this at the Maha level, like with what's his name there, Kennedy. Is it a thing? I don't know. There's too many conspiracy theories to keep a track of. I'm just sticking to my lane. Mine's ancient history. I think we are an older civilization than we think we are. I think we had a very technologically advanced civilization, and then it got wiped out, and then we've restarted from there. I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe the CIA is involved. But if you guys are wondering and want to shoot some emails to the show, here's the address. If you have topics you want to go over, or you want to learn a little bit more, we monitor the inbox. Takes a while to get through all the emails, but nevertheless, we do look at all of them. So it's info@davemorrow.net. Choose an email there if you've got an inquiry or you want to appear on the show. Be happy to answer your questions there. So just to recap and go back, we've got a few things on the go. But namely, congratulations to our winner for the Dallas Alexander tickets, Jim Arms -D&ck, for 2 tickets to a location of your choice for Dallas tickets. Congratulations to you, sir. And additionally, if you're in the United States of America and you want to support the Gruntstyle Foundation's effort to reduce veteran harm and explore the relationship between medication and veteran suicide. June 4th and 5th at the Capitol building, which is pretty cool. They've got some serious clout because our politicians don't listen to us. You're going to want to check this out. The link is in the description. And if you want to attend, it's 100% free. They're going to be doing a documentary presentation as well at 6 p.m. So it's called Medicating Normal. It's a film screening. It's probably going to be pure fire. So I wish I could make it down, but unfortunately I cannot. So June 5th, go check these guys out. More to follow on the Gruntstyle Foundation. They're absolute beauties when it comes to advocating for veterans' health. And I've taken a keen interest to what's going on here in Canada. So folks, that's it for me. First kick of the can this month, and more to follow in June. More consistency as well, and more topics to put on your watch list. And if you haven't done so already, go check out the latest episodes of the show. We've got some interesting takes on ibogaine and psychedelic treatments. Dallas was just on the show. We've got some really, really spicy ones coming up, especially the interview I did with Dr. Robert McCullough. Is it McCullough? Robert McCullough? Did I get his name right? Anyways, Dr. McCullough did the interview a few weeks ago. If you don't know who he is, talking about the injections and the just complete and utter disaster that has caused. And you're going to want to listen to that. And I got a whole bunch of other folks chatting about interesting topics related to veteran health and wellness. So if you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, share, comment, rate if you haven't done so on your favorite podcast player. All of this helps grow the show and helps get better, bigger, and more interesting guests on the show in the future. That's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and train hard, fight easy. Peace.